Say hi. Say hi, Milo. This is Milo. She's only 10 months old. She's a baby. Say hi. Say hi. She's usually not this focused. And all she wants to do all day is just lick, lick, lick. Aww. Hello guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video and welcome to my channel. If you're returning, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and I'm a BSN student. I'm in a nursing program that I just started not that long ago. So I'm pretty new to YouTube. I made videos a few years ago about beauty and hair and skincare and all of that stuff. And I took a break from that, and now I'm a little bit older and I'm in nursing school and I want to make content on healthcare, nursing, study tips, nursing school obviously, and all of that. So I'm still getting used to YouTube, editing, all of that stuff. So my videos are probably going to be choppy for a while. I'm not looking to become popular or do anything. I just really want to document my journey. But one thing that I did notice in my previous videos that I've been editing is that I kind of seem like robotic and not myself. So for this video, I'm literally just on my living room floor and just talking to the camera. And since I'm on my floor, my dog is here. You can see her. So if I'm looking down, if you hear any weird noises, that is just Merlot. She's just really excited that I'm on the floor of the living room. My main goal of these videos is really just to give people what I was looking for when I was applying to nursing school and when I was starting out my journey. Literally any question that I had related to nursing, like what schools to apply to, what different programs there were out there, different types of nurses, different types of degrees for nurses. Any question that I had, I came to YouTube and I would see people's videos, and just stuff like this really helped me. So all of that is just to say, bear with me as I figure everything out on YouTube. I'm just trying to be myself, but it is really weird talking into a camera if you're not used to it. So to get into today's video, I want to talk about different myths that people hear that prevent them from going into nursing, or different fears that people have that prevent them into going into nursing or applying to nursing school. The first reason that I'm going to talk about is that your GPA is not high enough. This is probably the most common misconception that I hear when people say that they want to become a nurse or they want to go to nursing school, but their GPA isn't high enough. And honestly, this prevented me from going back to school for nursing for a really long time. For most of my undergraduate career, I was a C student. I had an average of 2.0 or 2.5 pretty much almost every semester for a certain point. And one semester I actually dipped as low, I dipped below a 2.0 one semester. I got either a 1.9 or a 1.8. And I am now a nursing student. Having a low GPA does not mean that you cannot get accepted into nursing school. If you look at associate's degrees, many ADN programs require a 2.5 or a 2.75 to apply. So you really don't have to be a straight A student or 4.0 student, which is what is a very common misconception. To this day, I'm not a straight A student. I've never gotten a 4.0 in my life, and I still got accepted into a nursing program. Even BSN programs, many schools require a minimum GPA of a 3.0 to apply. So if your GPA is a 2 point something, you maybe just have to retake some classes or see what you need to do to build up your GPA to hit that minimum requirement at least. And if your GPA is the minimum requirement for whatever school you're applying to, go ahead and apply, just because you don't know what that year's pool of applicants looks like. One year, a school may only be accepting students with a 3.8 and above, and then the next year they may have a totally different pool of applicants and they may accept students with a 3.0. So you really never know until you apply. And even if you do take that step and take that chance and you apply and you get denied or waitlisted, or if your GPA is too low right now to apply or to be considered for the school that you want to go to, then go to your local community college and just take one class at a time to boost up your GPA. One thing that I used to think was that if I didn't do well in a science class the first time around, if I retake it, schools are going to see that I retook it, and that's going to count against me. And it's actually the opposite. If you take a class and you don't do well, and then you retake the class and you do better and you increase your GPA, schools see growth. So they're not just looking at, oh, this person failed it the first time or they had to take it twice. they're going to look to see what your initial score was or your initial grade was. And then they're going to see what grade you got when you retook it. And it honestly shows growth. It shows that you took it more seriously the next time, or it shows that maybe you had something going on in your life the first time that you took it, and that's not really how you do in school. And another thing about your GPA possibly not being high enough, or you not thinking that your GPA is high enough to get into nursing school, is that a lot of schools do not just look at your GPA. So they will look and see if you have volunteer experience, they'll look and see if you have work experience. Some schools, for those of you out there that are like changing degrees and you're a little bit older, they'll look to see what other degrees you may have, and they look at you all around as a person, not just at what your GPA is. Another reason is that you think that you are too old to go back to school for nursing. There is literally no such thing as being too old to go back to school. One thing that actually really encouraged me when I became serious about going back to school for my BSN was that I read the average age of a new nurse is 30 years old. So when I would go on YouTube and I would look up like nursing students and study tips, I would see all of these like 18-year-old girls, 19-year-old girls that were younger than me, going for their first degree, fresh out of high school. And it was a little bit, like it made me a little bit hesitant because I was thinking, you know, even though I'm not old, I'm still in my 20s, I'm still young, but I was just kind of like, am I gonna be the only one in class like with a house? Am I gonna be the only one in class that has to work? Am I gonna be the only one with a husband? Like it just made me a little bit nervous as to what I would walk into. But most of the people in my classes right now, like most of the people in my cohort are older, they're married, a lot of them have children. Like there are some people that are middle-aged. It really just goes to show that there's no age that's too old to go back to school. And that honestly, a lot of people are going back to school for nursing. Like a lot of people are either taking time off and then going to school to get their nursing degree, or they'll start off in a career field and then they'll end up switching careers later in life and go back for nursing. But whether you are in your 20s, your 30s, 40s, 50s, there is no such thing as being too old to go back to school and improving your life and finding a career path that works for you. And that's universal, whether it's with nursing or with anything else. So the next one was a really big one for me to get over, especially when I was an undergrad, and that is that you are not good at math or sciences. To be completely honest, and this is just my opinion, and I'm a nursing student, I'm not a nurse yet, but nursing really is not math heavy. It is obviously science heavy, but it really isn't math heavy in my opinion. You like obviously do need math in nursing. Of course, you need math. You constantly use math in nursing, but it's not like trigonometry or calculus. Like it's not a math that you need to whip out your graphing calculator to do. Of course, you do need to get through school. So you will need to get through a certain number of math courses in order to get your degree. And that is a challenge, but you can kind of combat that by utilizing any resources that your school may have. If they happen to have free tutoring, you can use that. If you can afford a private tutor, there are websites that you can go on that you can connect with tutors. Everything is virtual now, so you don't even have to leave your house to do it. And really, it's just having that mindset of telling yourself, I only have to do maybe these 2 or 3 math courses and then I'm done with math courses for the program. Like you really just have to get through a couple of courses in order to move on and advance and eventually get your degree. And then once you're in the field, like I said, you're not going to be whipping out a graphing calculator every day on the job to do math. It's going to be mostly basic math that you're trained to do, that's implemented into your everyday tasks. And to help you get through classes while you're in school, like the few classes that you need, you'll need probably statistics, you'll need algebra, and then in your nursing classes, of course, you'll need like applied math. But for like those stat courses, those algebra courses, those basic math courses, you can also look on YouTube. If you do not have access to free resources at your school and you don't have access to pay for private tutors, then you can also try to go online and look at YouTube for like Khan Academy. They have amazing math tutorials. And you can also just have a one-on-one and reach out to your professor and let them know, math is not my strong suit, but I really, really want to do well in this program, or I really want to get into nursing school, and I'm willing to do extra readings or just do whatever tips you think I should do in order for me to comprehend this material enough to pass your class. So this next one, I honestly don't know if it's just me, but it gave me a lot of anxiety when I first thought about going back to school for nursing, and that is tattoos. So I have tattoos. Most of my tattoos are hidden, but I do have a couple of tattoos that are more open and more obvious and out there, and they're not big, but they are there. And so a big concern that I had was that I would not be hired anywhere as a nurse if I had tattoos. Now that I'm talking about it, like to you guys in front of the camera, it sounds ridiculous, but at the time it was like a genuine concern of mine that caused me a lot of anxiety, and I thought that it was going to be something that would prevent me from being able to become a nurse and get a job. But that is not true, and if you have tattoos, it's not something that you should worry about. If you have tattoos and this is something that you're concerned about, you can always cover up your tattoos. They have undershirts, of course, for nurses, like to cover up your arms. Scrubs only cut off here, so you can wear like a long sleeve if you have like a sleeve of tattoos, and that is not something that nursing schools or hospitals that you're doing clinicals at will tolerate. You can get one of those undershirts and wear that. A lot of hospitals also have jackets that you can wear that are compliant with their uniform. So my school, we have a school uniform, like the normal scrub top and bottoms, and then we have jackets. So if you get cold or if you have tattoos, you can wear the jackets and it'll cover you up to your wrists. And yes, it'll get hot in the summertime, but if this is something that you really want to do, and if hospitals have a policy against tattoos and you have more obvious tattoos, then you're going to have to make the sacrifice and cover them up. If you do have tattoos, especially if they are bigger tattoos, then you should really look up different policies near you for nursing schools and for hospitals. Some hospitals do have policies against tattoos, but not all of them do. You may be in an area, or you may want to work for a healthcare facility where that's not an issue. And the last thing that I want to say on the tattoo topic is just that if you have tattoos and if it is something that you're worried about, it honestly could have just been me, which is why I didn't find a lot on the internet about it when I looked it up a couple of years ago. But if it is something that applies to you, try to remember that having tattoos does not impede your ability to do well in nursing school or to do well as a nurse. It really has nothing to do with your skills. It has nothing to do with your skill set, and it's your body, you know, and it's not something that you should regret. It's not something that should cause you anxiety. Just like I said, look up different policies at healthcare facilities around you. Look up different policies on tattoos and dress codes for different schools you want to go to. And if you are looking at places where they have strict policies, just make a plan to cover it up and don't worry about it. So the last myth that I want to debunk is that you cannot quit your job to focus on school or to go to school. And I don't want to speak from a place of privilege, but I don't feel that that's something that everybody has to do. Like, if you don't want to quit your job, if you do not have the luxury of quitting your job to focus on school, it's not something that you have to do. So the first thing that I would say would be to look at programs that fit with your schedule. Some schools actually have night and weekend options for BSNs and ADNs. And I'm not sure about LPNs just because I haven't done my research, but I'm sure that that probably does exist. But look at night and weekend options if you work like a typical 9 to 6 or 8 to 5 schedule. If you work odd hours, if you're working like night shift or if you're working on the weekends, then look at programs that are available during weekdays exclusively. You know, right now with the pandemic, it's really taught schools that they can do classes online. So if you are looking to start a program, maybe look at programs that are offering gen eds online, or go to community college. Do your gen eds at community college, which is cheaper. Most of these online classes do not require you to physically be in class. So that way you can go to work during the day and then you can come home in the evening and do school. Another thing that I would suggest is be open with your job. Let them know that you want to go back to school for nursing and see if they are willing to work with your schedule. You know, if you were working at a facility that is open 24/7 or at odd hours, maybe they can change your shift or just move your shift around to different days if you don't work Monday through Friday. That way you can go to classes certain days of the week and you can still work certain days of the week. And the last thing that I would suggest, if you are not able to find an online program, if you're not able to find a program that fits your schedule, and if you are unfortunately at a job that's not willing to work with your schedule, then I would suggest finding a new job that is either willing to work with your schedule with school, or find a job that has a schedule that is conducive to you being in school for nursing. And that is the part where I don't want to come from a place of privilege to just say, oh, you know, go get a new job. Like, I know it's not easy out there, but I do think that if this is what you really want to do, it's something that you should consider looking at, because you have to look at the long-term picture. You know, it is maybe a year to 3 years of sacrifice for you to hopefully be making more money, have a stable job, a stable income, and a better life for you and for your family. So for me, it was do what I have to do, any means necessary. And if you are in that same boat, those are just some tips to hopefully help you move forward. So that is the end of this video. Those are just a couple of main fears that I had when I wanted to go back to school for nursing. Just thinking that my GPA wasn't good enough, not knowing how I was going to make it fit my schedule, not being good at math and science. And those were all things that I had to really think about and overcome. And it took me a long time, but I did. I ended up applying to nursing school, and obviously now I'm a nursing student. If you have any questions, Milo is like going crazy. But if you have any questions or want any more information, or if you have any fears that I didn't go over in this video, please just comment below or reach out to me and let me know. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one.